Okay, welcome to this video on how to complete a writing portfolio for a unit in biology. Here's the first Unit 1 portfolio. The instructions, they're written as a first do this, then do that, and then last do the following. So I'm just going to do the tasks in that order. So the first thing is to just combine the results from all of the labs that we did in the unit. So I've already done that here. I went and then opened the lab reports that were written from some various students and just copied the entire lab report. So here's the properties of water lab. I just opened up the lab, selected everything, copy, and then opened this and pasted it in. The whole lab report is here, right? Just a raw version. Then I went to the lactate lab, did the same thing, copy and pasted the whole thing. I just wanted to get all the text in here. Microscope lab, here's the whole thing. Gummy bear and dialysis lab, here's the whole lab, everything that was there. I just copy it all. Now my next task is to go through and just delete everything that's not the results. So properties of water lab, I don't need this part, right? That's the introduction. All I need is the results, and I don't need this thing that says how many points it was. I don't even need the thing that says the word results, right? Not needed, right? I might want to indicate what this was, right? So it may be a sentence, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Just get rid of all the results here. I'm just going to pause for a minute while I get rid of the results. Let me show you a couple other things I can do here. So this person had written claims inside. I don't need those. Right? Then I go through here. I can just again edit this to get rid of where he had written claim as a separate sentence. Let's get rid of that. Right? I don't need that. Point values. Just cleaning this up a little bit. Discussion. Don't need this. Right? Because that's not part of results. I can just delete all the other stuff here. I have introduction. Right? I don't need that, although I might keep the purpose just for the future. Right? Methods here, don't need that. Right? All I want is the results. There's a nice picture. Don't need the word results. Discussion, don't need that. I'm just getting the results here. Microscope, right? I'm just going to keep that statement of purpose just for myself. I might use that as a transitional phrase. There it says questions, but that means results. Just go through this. I can keep those questions or not, right? I might say, nah, I can just delete them. I don't need those, right? And then I come here, Gummy Bear Lab, right? These are results. I need to write this properly. I don't need this part. Here's dialysis tube. There's a figure. I don't need the instructions to tell me that, right? I don't need those two parts, but I have a nice CER paragraph right there. Those are my results. I don't need that. So just went through and cleaned up my results. So now I just have the results, right? Now to add in some formatting, it says here in my directions, right? Combine all this, make suggested and desired edits to connect ideas, make sure it reads well. Okay, so let me do that. So just getting rid of things like I don't need it to say 3 points. I should probably have at least one sentence explaining what this lab did. So what did we do with the properties of water lab? They had 3 experiments were conducted to demonstrate the properties of water, right? There we go. There's a sentence that does that. And then first was drops of water on a coin. I can just change the formatting of this just so it looks nice and go through and do that for all of these. So I'm not really writing new words, right? I had like one sentence that I wrote there. The rest is just formatting this to make it flow, right? And go through. I keep on doing that, right? And I would do that for all of these, going on down through. Here's a lactate lab. I kept the purpose of this one. That's my transition. Lactate lab. The purpose of this experiment was to figure out if yeast could digest lactose. Okay, great. Then I got an image. I've got my perfect. Microscope lab. I kept the purpose. In this lab, we hope there. That's exactly what we did. And there's some results. I might want to describe a little bit more what I needed. Missing a picture here. That's not good. Here, gummy bear dialysis lab. I can just get rid of the underlining. Gummy bear surface area to volume ratio. Gummy bears were used to determine, right? Determine the speed of osmosis. Boom, right? Don't need that sentence. I just have the data table. Don't need that sentence. Again, just cleaning it all up, right? Now, if I did this properly, right, and I showed my work and explained each calculation with the sentence, I should be able to go through and just delete these. If I didn't, I might need to write some sentences, right, just say what I did, right? This person did a fairly decent job of that, right? And I might need to add some transitional phrases inside of here, right? So I might need to add a couple of phrases inside to describe what I did, right? The volume of the water entering the gummy bear, right? Entering the gummy bear equals mass equals mass divided by density, right? Right? For this experiment, I just need to put these equations into words and hash that out. So I have a little bit of editing and writing to do to make this read well, right? For dialysis, again, I can go here, get rid of the underlining. For dialysis, semi-permeable membrane capacitive transport, dialysis was observed, our dialysis tubing was observed as an example of semi-permeable membranes capacitive transport. That's fine, right? I got a figure here. I'm just going to shrink it a little bit. You can have different wording that goes inside of this. And here's this, right? And I'm doing good, right? And I can go through, and I've just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. I have all my experience from my results, and I started to do some word phrasing. That might take you another, if I did this, tinkered like that for like another 15 minutes, I could probably have it all cleaned up pretty good, okay? That's that, making edits and making it flow. Then, write an introduction with the statement of purpose, right? This is for the whole portfolio. So I need an introduction for the whole portfolio, right? That's going to start out or end with, it's a one-paragraph introduction, right? Either the first sentence or the last sentence needs to be a statement of purpose. Something like, the purpose of this portfolio is to, and what is my purpose, right? Well, I have a set of labs that I'm going to try to connect together and show how those labs relate to each other and how they relate to the idea of the unit, right? So you can phrase that as a statement of purpose. The rest of this paragraph of the introduction is to make sure my reader understands that purpose, understands like what we say when we say chemical property, what do we mean, right? Or why was water important to study? Because it's the most common molecule inside of living organisms, right? Or enzymes, what enzymes are. We looked at the lactate lab to look at chemical reactions and the energy dynamics that affect organisms. You're just introducing the ideas so when they see the lab later on, they're not totally confused. That's introduction, right? We're talking about maybe 4 or 5 sentences in this paragraph. Either the first or last sentence should be the statement of purpose for the portfolio. Next thing we do is write a discussion, right, about the main conclusion. So I need to go to the bottom of my portfolio and I need to have a discussion, right, section. And part of my discussion, it tells me here, is I need to have a conclusion. I need to state the main conclusion, the main takeaway, right? So I could say the main takeaway from this set of experiments or from this portfolio is, and I could say that, right? That's not, I mean, you don't have to say it that way, but a main conclusion from this is, and then say it, and then you're going to remind the reader of how that main takeaway came to be, or how did that, with that understanding, oh, molecules make up all these living things and the properties of life are determined by molecules, we could apply that understanding towards better diet and nutrition, towards controlling how we hydrate ourselves, towards knowing why we don't drink seawater. Have those applications in mind as you go through, right? Just have a one paragraph discussion. Again, this would be 4 or 5 sentences at the bottom, right? Writing that. That's done. I need a title at the top of my paper. Okay, so I need a title, right? And the title can't be Unit 1 Portfolio. It should be something different, right? So no more than 140 characters, should be informative and capture attention. So I need to come up with some super spiffy title, right? Like, this is the best title ever. Alright? Alright, and then you can have whatever title it is, but it should relate to what these labs are. What do you think the main point was? What's the title that would, so a reader sees this title and goes, oh, this is going to be about this, right? Oh, this is, the title could be Collection of Lab Reports about organic molecules and cells. It could be something like that. That's not very exciting. You could find maybe a more attractive hook. That's what I need for my title, right? Then last, proper formatting of tables and figures. This is where you're going to spend a little bit of time. Here's a table, right? This table, in order to be included here, this person wrote all this stuff and cited some data. To properly cite that, I should indicate that all this data is in table 1, right, which is this table here. How do I show this is table 1? I need to insert a row above. I'm going to merge these cells, merge, right, and I can label this table 1 drops on a coin before surface tension failed, right? And since that's the title, I can put that in bold, and there we go, right? That table is now labeled. For a figure, it's a little bit different. So here's the figure. I'm going to cut this picture, right? Cut, right? And then I'm going to go up here and insert a drawing. Paste. And now I can insert a caption underneath this. All right, I can change the font down to 12. I can label this. This is the first figure that I've had. A graph, an image, a picture, a drawing. Those are all figures. If it's not a table, it's a figure. So this is figure 1. It's the first one I've done. And it shows it's the heating curve of water, right? From ice to boiling, right? There we go. Save and close. You could name it whatever you wanted. By saving it as a drawing, now when I resize this, the text of the caption resizes with the picture, and it also lets me wrap them both if I wanted to. Note the red line that shows up on the side showing me the margin. So I can put this over here. I can shrink it down. It doesn't need to be super huge, right? I could change the formatting here, right? So that paragraph is a little more aligned. Oops, that's actually the wrong paragraph. Heating curve of water goes up here, right? And there I go. I'm good, right? So I've got my first paragraph. I formatted my table right. Here I formatted my figure right. I'm doing good. I'm just going to keep on going down through the whole thing, formatting all these pictures. I need a caption on this one. I need to make sure I reference it in the text, right? So instead of saying image 1 here, or figure 1, right, in figure 1, so this is actually going to be figure 2 now, because it's now the second one inside of here, right? I just need to put a caption and format it like that. Go all the way down through the whole thing. This is a table, right? So here I'm going to insert a row above, right, and title this, merge these. This is going to be now table 2, right? Showing whatever it shows, right? All that. Go through, format those. If I've got my formatting right, then I'm good. If you wanted more information about how to do that, a reminder that on the main page, whichever section you're in, there's a folder called How-To Videos for Computer Skills. If you go in there, there's a whole video in here about how to format a figure in Google Docs, right? And how to create a table for that matter. They're both in there if you need some more information. Hopefully that puts a little more clarity on this assignment. The writing portfolio is not meant to be a lot of challenging new content writing. The only thing you're writing that's new is the introduction, paragraph, and the discussion paragraph, and the title. Everything else is editing and formatting. Okay, hope that helps, guys.